Okay, y'all. Happy Life Coach Tuesday. So, today I am talking about having a strong foundation. So, the thought of this came to mind just because this is like one of the steps in my coaching program, Build Your Fabs Foundation. And one of the things that I always say is that your house is only as strong as the foundation in which it is built on. So, with that being said, that can radiate throughout your entire life. So, when you're making your foundation, you have to make sure that you have the right materials, you have the right soil, and you have the right conditions. If any of those things are missing, then you run the possibility of having a weak foundation and not having your structure last as long as you want it to. And if it comes to your health or your life or your relationships, like, I don't like having issues in those things. I don't have. I don't like having issues in my health, in my relationships, in my life. So if I'm ever trying to plan something new, if I feel uncomfortable or unrest and I want a new job, or I want to switch up my eating habits because things are not working out the way that I want them to, if you have to make a new plan for those things, you have to have a strong foundation. And if you have never done those things before, if you've never learned anything about like nutrition, never learned anything about health, then it may be daunting. So you may not have the right information. This is where I say it is highly helpful to have a health coach to help coach you along. Because unlike somebody who just gives you a meal plan, a health coach or a nutritionist, they will work with you to find a eating habit or a lifestyle pattern, eating pattern that you can sustain and do on your own. So instead of just following orders, you're creating a healthy plan, like you're learning how to do it yourself. So it's not following orders, it's you learning a skill, a life skill. And I think that's a little bit better than learning, okay, if I follow the list, so it's either you follow the list or not. When you're with a health coach, you learn all your options. So you're more well equipped to live your life. So, health aside, moving on to some life, spiritual stuff. If it comes to relationships, and say you've been bouncing around from relationship to relationship, and you're thinking it's always the other person, you have to look at your foundation. What is the foundation of those relationships based on? Is it communication? Is it trust? Is it compatibility? Is it boundaries? Those are a lot of things that have to come into play. And if you do not have any of those things in order, then you run the risk of having a not so good structure, possibility of that relationship failing. I know too often we run into relationships or we run into things and like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It just feels right. It just feels right. But something happens, we miss some red flags, and yeah, 3 months later, we hate this person. That's just scrub, scum, bum. Um, yeah. So you really have to make sure that you have your firm foundation, have your list, have your plans, have all of that like scheduled out and planned, because if it's something new and if it's something that I'm trying again that has failed in the past, then I make sure that I have all my ducks in a row. And maybe this is just because I'm a operation manager. I like to start small and then work my way up. Like if I have a plan, it's like, okay, so I want to have my clients lose 30 pounds so they can fit into their dress by a certain holiday. I'm just throwing out stuff. So if that's the case, that's your big plan. You have to go all the way small and just work your way all the way down to, all right, so what's going to be necessary for me to do these things every single day to make sure that I can reach my goal? What can I get away with on some days? What can I not eat? What's my leniency? Leniency. You have to like take in consideration, like, all right, so what all can I do Just make sure that I have my wiggle room and still be happy, because that's where a lot of relationships, sorry for the noise, this is San Francisco, I stay in the city, but taking it back over to relationships, this is oftentimes why relationships don't work, because we don't have boundaries and we're just building it off of going with the flow. Go with the flow don't really last long. And until you have structure and boundaries in place, this is why you have that reset and that drop the baggage in my coaching program. Because when you're on your plan, things can happen as like, wait, hold on, this is not what I want. So you go back, you look and see what it wants, and you look at your plan. It's like, am I doing everything on my plan? Because this is not what I want. And if you are, then you can just restructure and say, okay, this needs to go in place, this needs to go in place. And so you're building your foundation. Like, your foundation does not have to be set in stone, but you can build upon it. I know, working with a client coaching, she said she wanted to get in shape, but she started off from saying, I don't have time to exercise. So I don't have time to exercise. And she also said that I don't have time to eat right either. So we had to start off with the basics. You want to lose weight? We have to get your habits together, because we're not about to do anything that you don't want to do. Because if you start off just trying to focus on exercising and eating right, you're going to be frustrated. You're going to say it's not going to happen, and then it's never going to work out. So that's why we have to look at the big picture and then break it down to figure out what is all in the way so we can reach our goals. And so we start off with the nutrition. Once you got the nutrition right, she's starting to see results. She lost 14 pounds just getting the nutrition together and minimum exercise. So now that that's in order, also working her way off her high blood pressure medication to where she cannot take it as often and has to go look at the dosage because it's affecting her, because her blood pressure is stabilizing. I don't know, a little bit of healthy lifestyle does the trick. But anywho, this all helps because now she has the energy, she has the motivation, she has the baby steps necessary for me to start giving her those workouts. So now she's finding the time to go to the gym. So now she's making solutions to where at one point she didn't have the solutions. So this is where it comes into play, and having those strong foundations. And this is also because I know I've been bouncing around between health topics and relationship topics, but this is why I'm a transformational nutrition coach, and my coaching program incorporates health and life coaching at the same time. Because for me, like, I like to get to the bottom of stuff, and if things are in the way, like if you give me an excuse, I don't take excuses. To me, excuses are just things that are just getting in the way from your goal. So if you give me an excuse, I'm gonna try to give you a solution. And this is why my clients get results, because I don't take excuses. I just give them solutions, or we just work through solutions, because I'm really just working you through, helping you get that growth mindset to where you're always finding solutions instead of finding problems. But that's a whole nother topic. I hate to go too far deep, but anywho, yes, make sure you have your strong foundations in your health, in your life. And if you ever have a tough time building your foundations, if you have no boundaries, then you might want to take it spiritual and figure out where your faith lies and where your morals lie and where your self-values lie. So you'll actually know and understand who you are and what you need on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, to make sure that you remain that person. Because you know who you are when you're not yourself. And nobody likes not being themselves. It's like, I'm normally not like this. I'm usually a happy-go-lucky person, but life is crazy. So, yeah. Hope this helps.